Hey guys, I was going to say good evening, but it's actually good morning. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm bored out of my box, can't sleep. So I thought, well, I'll come out to the shed and have a little go with one or two small jobs that I wanted to get done. And I've noticed a couple of things while I'm out here. And the first one is the camera mount on the bike is wearing very slightly, and it's taken off some of the black edging. So this piece here, this screws on to the piece on the tank, and I'll show you where it goes. This screws on roughly there, and the screws go through, and hopefully you'll be able to see that it's just taking off the edge. And this piece I normally leave on the bike all the time, and it's starting to wear. As you can see, there's a little bit of rust getting in there. It's just taken the finish off of it. It's probably not the best finish in the world, but in noticing that, I then came to notice that the ring around the edge of the filler cap is actually beginning to look a little bit tired and worn in places as well. So while I've got this off and I'm giving that a bit of a clean up and a respray, I think I should do the same to the outer ring, and I may even change it to black, blend it in with everything else, and then it won't stand out quite so much. Black the bolts as well, and we see how we get on with there. So I'll whip that off and then we'll go from there. Okay, as you can see, I've got the parts off. This is the bracket for the camera, and if I get that about right, you should be able to see in there now that that's quite a lot more worn on the side than when you could see it on the bike. So I'll rub all that down, give that a bit of a clean up, give that some spray. I've got some plastic coat paint up there, that should do that a treat. Nice and hard wearing. The filler cap's slightly more difficult. For some stupid reason I assumed the ring around the filler cap was separate, and it's not. So I shall just mask up the filler cap and work on the ring around the outside. Give that a good clean up, rub down, and then probably some satin black on that, just to keep that all in tidy with everything else. But at this time in the morning there's nothing I can do, so I'm off to bed. I'll go and get the bits and pieces tomorrow and we'll catch up then. Night for now. Okay, so it's Saturday morning now. I've been and got the paint that I needed and done a few other odds and sods as well. Last night I took the bar end weights off. After stopping the cam last night, I noticed that they needed doing, so I've done them. They've been sprayed with plastic coat and they've come out looking really nice. That's what they ended up like. I'm sure you can see that quite well actually in the camera from this angle. But they were looking a little bit tired, so they've been revitalised. A little tip for you, I'll bring you over here. A little tip: if you need to paint your bolts, just stand them in a piece of polystyrene like that. Okay, I've knocked that one over. And push them in there, and that saves rolling them all around. There's the bits for the camera mount. Now they're still going to be wet, so I'm not going to touch those yet. They were done in plastic coat and very shiny and glossy, and just looked out of place when I just laid them in place. So they've now got satin black on, but that's still wet and drying. These are the bolts for the bar end weights, and this is what they look like when I took them out. So I've cleaned them up with a dye. This one was actually quite corroded on the end, as well as having the old thread lock on there. But they clean up easy, just run the dye down it, clean those up. So I'm just going to put those back on, and then we'll do the next part. Catch you in a bit. Okay, next stage. Filler cap surround has all been rubbed down, and a little tip for you: if you're rubbing down stuff that's got to be kept flat, if you use a flat surface, I've used a piece of MDF, lay your sandpaper or your wet and dry on that so that it's nice and flat, and then just keep a nice circular motion going, and that keeps everything all nice and flat and smooth. I'm going to keep my hands off the front surface because it's all been degreased and that's all been cleaned up and rubbed. But basically, onto your wet and dry, circular motions, and keep it going round, get into a lighter grade of wet and dry, gives that a nice smooth surface. That's now ready for paint, and I've decided that I'm going to paint the filler cap as well as the surround in the same colour, so that it doesn't stand out quite so much. So I'll get on with spraying that. You don't need to see it because you know how to push the top of an aerosol. I'll come back again in a minute. Bye for now. Okay, tip number 1,000,005. Gloves. Brilliant for masking up things. Look at that. Neat as you like. Even I can't cock that up. So, the bar end weights are in now, back on the bike. Let you have a look at them. And as you can see, they're looking pretty good. Go over that one. Probably be able to see this one a little bit better because of the light. I'm assuming I'm aiming the GoPro correctly. But they were looking quite tired and nasty. A little tip for you when you've got no filler cap, stop the shit going down inside your tank. And there's the what was silver ring around the filler cap. I've decided to give everything one coat over the top just to match it in, because the satin black that was around the ring is a slightly different shade to the filler cap itself. So they've literally just been done, so they're looking a little bit strange at the moment because they're just in the process of drying out. But hopefully when it dries they'll be almost the same colour. Might need a second coat, but that'll be done. There's the camera mounts, they're all done now, ready to go back on. That might need another coat. That's, for some strange reason, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, but it's kind of reacted slightly. I think I'll give that a bit of a rub down and give it another coat. So that'll be the next thing for me to do. Then it will go back on the bike and go from there. Hopefully that's the final coat on those, and they should dry with a nice satin finish. Fingers crossed. Okay, so we're done. It's all back together. It's all on the bike. Have a quick look see. And there it is. No more silver. There's one or two little tiny blemishes in it, and I will take it back off at a later date when I strip the rest of the bike down for its winter present, shall we say. But it's going to get a good going over. So it's looking reasonable. Bar ends all in place and all sorted out. Filler caps around all finished. Looking nice. Next thing to do, boot rests. Can't make up my mind what to do with those at the moment. It's a nice carbon effect set. One for that side down there, and the one for that one there. So they could end up being carbon fibre, they could end up being black. I've got some new foot pegs on order, front and rear, and then I can go with my modification for lowering the front peg slightly, although I am having second thoughts on that at the moment, and maybe thinking about raising the seat, which will give the same effect. I've got some 1-inch bar risers saved on my eBay account, so I might get them, raise the bars by 1 inch, raise the seat by 1 inch, and that may well be enough. That'll also save my tank a little bit of a bashing from my big fat belly. So there we go, all done. Now I'm not sure if you can see it or not, but if I bring the camera right in, just underneath there, between the camera mount and the filler caps around, tap washers. And if you're wondering why I've put tap washers in there, it's to help stop the vibration, and it works pretty well. I had them in there before. These ones are a little bit fatter, but hopefully they'll do just as good a job.